So the last topic is whenever we modify a tables on the database side. Okay, so whenever you add a new columns, whenever you do any changes in the database, we need to reverse engineer those tables for getting the latest information into ODI models. So we need to have a reverse engineering needs to be redone because we added a new columns. Okay, so in the last operator, in the last class, we ran this package. Let's delete. So I'm deleting this, purging the log. I'm completely removing the content of this log by clicking this purge log button. Okay, so I'm removing all the logs information. Successful. So there is no data. So now I'm running this package again. So we have seen these scenarios. We have seen the scenario. Whenever you run a scenario, it executes the code available in the package at the time of scenario creation. Okay, so whenever you click this one, it's execute the old code. But I modified the package. What I modified the package, I added some columns. Okay, so now I'm executing this package. So if I run a scenario, no issues because it's executing the old code. Okay, so now I'm executing this package. So the package is going to fail. See here, package is failed. So where it is failed? It is failed in the first. So the package has three interfaces. The first interface, it's failed. In the first interface, insert not null errors in the CKM. So it failed in the CKM step. Let's see the code associated. See, so now out of all these steps, these are completed successfully. Up to these steps, it's created successfully. This step failed. So what is the failed reason in this step? Okay, now double click the failed step. This is called as a, see here. So this 40 is a session. So this is a session step. This is the steps in this line. So double click this one. So now you will see a error message. Insert date invalid identifier. It says that insert date invalid identifier because we added this column recently. We added the column, we reverse engineer. So what is the code which is responsible for executing this failure? Okay, so where it is executed, let's see here. Let's see these two lines first. Okay, so the error is insert date is invalid identifier. And where it is failed, TPLG Oracle target local connection. So the target connection, in the target connection, so this is failed. So now what is the code associated to this failure? Let's go to code tab. So here, this is the source code and this is the target. So it's failed in the target. Let's see the code. Let's get the code associated to the failed. So now I'm trying to show you how to debug the steps. Okay, let's first open the step where it is failed. Double click that code and see the connection information. The target. Okay, so now here we executed the step here. From the definition, we identified the error is insert date is invalid, and where it is executed, it is executed on the target connection, the topology. Now go to that connection and then see the code. This is the code it executed. Let's see this select statement is executing successfully or not. First, yes, table RView does not exist because $i tables are dropped. See here, $i tables are dropped. That's fine. Okay, so don't worry about this one. In the real time, those tables will be available. Okay, so now let's see. Insert date is invalid identifier. Okay, so now this table is giving in a problem. $i locations underscore target. Let's see. So these $i tables, these $i, C dollar, E dollar tables. See here, there are the three tables. So C dollar, $i and E dollar tables. So these two tables by default drop and create. These two tables by default drop and create. C dollar, $i tables will be dropped and create during the map execution. By default, these tables. So the E dollar table is not going to drop and recreate. This is the table holds the error information. This is the table which holds the error tables and everything. If you see where these tables will be created, these tables will be created in the work schema. Work schema in the sense is staging schema. Work schema or staging schema. Staging schema, those tables will be created. Now the staging schema connection here is, so now how do you get the staging schema? Go to this topology, go to the physical connection, TPLG Oracle target, expand this, see the physical schema. So now this is the ODI stage is the physics schema. Now from here we can make a connection to the staging schema. So I'm creating a connection. It's already there. Okay, so now here in the tables, if you go to the tables, see here $, locations underscore TRG. Yes, we have a table. Okay, so now execute this select statement. In the ODI table, because those tables will be available in the ODI stage schema. Okay, so now see here. Yes, so it's not a problem with this select statement. See here, we got an error, insert date invalid identifier. Insert underscore date invalid identifier. Invalid identifier means the column is missing. Okay, so now this is the statement is responsible for causing a problem. This is the statement. Okay, we are getting the data from staging schema. Okay, so now this select statement is perfect. This select statement is perfect. So no errors in this select statement. So now it is going to insert into this table. It is going to insert into this table. Let's make sure, do we have this column in the table or not? We need to make sure, do we have that insert date in the table or not? Select star from ODI stage dot $, location. Yes. See here, the table is not there. If you go to this ODI stage, $, underscore location target, $, location. See here, so the column name insert date is not there because insert date created recently. That's why the column is not here. What can I do? So we need to recreate this table or add a column to this table. The first solution is we can add a column. So alter table, add. That column is not there because this table is already created. So the date. So I'm adding this column added. Now if you refresh it, so you have insert date. So now run the map, run your package. Because that column is not there. So what I did, I recreated that column. I added a table column to the table and then run the map. See, again it is failed. Let's see why it is failed. So now this is completed successfully. Table is completed. It failed in the second one because same problem. Because the same column is not there. See here, insert data identifier. So what is the table? $, underscore department underscore target. Okay, so that is the one option. Adding a column is the one option. Okay. Now, so this we have seen. Adding a column we have seen. Adding a column to $, table. So another option is drop $, underscore departments underscore target table. Underscore target. Drop target. So with a purge option. So I'm dropping this table. I'm dropping the table. Drop table, table name. So let's drop this table. Yes, table drop. Okay, so once a table drop, so now here the table is not there. So it creates, now ODI creates the table. So now execute it. Execute it. Okay. There are the two ways. One thing is, see, this is completed now. All three maps are completed successfully because $e table. So what is the thing is, okay, so we can drop and recreate the columns. We can drop and recreate the table, or we can add a column to the table. So the same table, $e, I, C tables. It's the best practice is, okay, the best practice is, so whenever you modify tables on the database side, okay, so the option is, so we can either drop tables and recreate it. So we don't need to recreate it. Those tables will be automatically recreate by ODI during next run. So what is that? We can either drop the tables and recreate tables. Tables in the sense is C I E table during the next ODI run, or manually add newly added columns to tables. So then the job will be successful. Okay, so one thing is, so here we have to reverse engineering. Once the reverse engineering done, we have to either drop the columns or manually add the columns to tables. Everybody is clear? Yes or no, please? Yes or no, please?
Yes, sir.
Anybody have any doubts, please?
Yes. No.
Okay. So the $e
No, sir.
tables will be permanently stored. $e tables will be permanently stored, and this $e tables will be table name. So it contains only the errors. There is no errors. Here also there is no errors. If the errors are there, those errors will be loaded into this table. So we can manually process those errors, identifies and everything. So $e tables and everything is identified. Okay, next coming to this second step. Okay, so now when I execute this scenario, it executes the old code, right? Because it's a 101. So now what I'm doing here is I'm regenerating the scenario. I'm generating the scenario again. So the scenario means, so I modified it. So now I'm releasing the new code. See here, a new scenario is generated. See here, this is the new scenario, this is the old scenario. Old scenario, whenever I execute old scenario, it executes as per the code available in the package at the time of that scenario. And this is the second version. The second version is after adding the insert date. So this is the new code associated to the insert one. That is the one way. So I can increase the version number. Second object, I can recreate it. Right click here and generate a scenario. A new scenario will be created. The new scenario contains the new code. Okay. Or sometimes what we have to do is, I'm deleting this one. Okay. So sometimes what we have to do is, instead of generating the new scenario number, use the same scenario with the latest code. See, whenever I click and generate a scenario, it creates the new scenario with the new number 100 plus 101. Sometimes we have to generate a scenario with the same version number with the latest code. So we have right click the existing scenario and execute the regenerate. Regenerate in the sense is a scenario will be regenerated. That means the latest code will come into picture. So that's I'm regenerating. So the same, see here, you cannot change this version number. You cannot change this version number or a name because we are regenerating the scenario. Regeneration means version number, scenario name is the same, but we will get the latest code. Whenever you create a new scenario, it generates a new scenario. Everybody is clear? Yes or no, please? So the generating the scenario and the regeneration. So this is a clear difference between scenario creation and a new scenario creation. Everybody is clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now we have seen scenario generation and a new scenario regeneration. generation and the scenario regeneration. See, it's a new version of the scenario will be created. New version will be created. Will be created with the latest code of package. Or a package, we can generate a scenario for mapping also. Mapping also, or ODI procedure also. We can generate a scenario for anything. And here, so the new scenario. Okay, so with the same number, scenario will be recreated. Will be recreated. Recreated with the same version number and the name. With the same code. Same latest code from package. Latest code from package. New scenario will be created. Okay, everybody is it clear, please? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now this is, so I'm dropping these tables again. I'm going to see the new code. I'm going to add one more topic. Okay. Okay, that's it. So now let's see here. I will loaded the data. Select star from what are the tables? Yes, departments underscore target. We loaded the data. So what we loaded? We loaded the insert date is the same thing. So how many rows are there? Yes. Let's see. We can see the insert date. I want to show you something. 2 underscore care of insert date. Okay, so daily MON YY HH 24 MI SS. Okay, so now this is the one. Okay, see here. This is the date we have in our table. Department underscore target table. This is the date. So now employees underscore target. What is the next table we have? Employees underscore target. Employees underscore target. So 21. Locations underscore target. I want to show you something, but here is everything is finished in the same second. Yes, see here. At least I got one record with the two different dates. Let's see here. So this is completed at this time, and this is completed at this time, and this is completed at this time. But I want to have same date for every table. How can I do it? So everybody is trying to get what I'm saying here, right? So see here. So this is, let's see, I have a, maybe if we have a more number of records in this one. So this is 45 and this is 50 and this is 55. This is the dates. But see here, the job started at 9:45 and completed at 9:55. But in each table, I want to have the same time. How it is possible? So each record need to have a same time. How it is possible? That is the question. So the insert date. So how can we insert the same date for all tables in all mappings. Yes, how can I possible? And the thing is, okay, so now I'm going to add a new column to this table. I'm adding a new column to these three tables. Okay, let's see. So alter table, I'm adding a new column. Departments underscore trg add, so inserted by. So I want to know who is inserted a record. Varchar 2 of 25. So inserted by, column added. So the locations underscore trg. Employees underscore trg. So first thing is, yes, 3 columns created. Now, so need to populate inserted by. So that means inserted by value. Inserted by value from a database table username. Inserted value from a table name. Table name. Okay. I want to see the who inserted a record, right? The who inserted the record into this table. Okay, so this inserted by column. First thing is, so I added a new columns. So once you added a new columns, what we have to do? We have to reverse engineering and we have to add a values. That's the fact. And thing is, how can we insert the same date for all tables in all mappings? I want to say, how can we insert same date for all tables in all mappings? So first thing is, let's finish the reverse engineering of these 3 tables. So how can we reverse engineering? Go to targets and then right click here and the open. Go to reverse engineering and select to reverse engineering. So I want to do only department, employees and the location because these are the modified ones. Yes, so the reverse engineering is done. So whenever you open this mapping, so you will see a new column. New column called inserted by. So inserted by, right now I am hard coding with the ODI. Okay, so I hard coded with the ODI. So because ODI job, let's make it as a ODI job. ODI job. Okay, this is the one I'm inserting. Now next thing is to go to the employees tab and inserted by. Let's populate this with the ODI job. Okay, ODI job I inserted this one. So the second one is save it, and third one is also I inserted with the ODI job. I hard coded the value because that is the one I need to add ODI job. Okay, super. Now second one is insert date. I want to use the same insert. So here it is the system date, and in the another two also I used the system date. Inserted by the system date. Sorry, inserted date is the system date. So what is the problem in this one? So it is creating a 3 different values, 329, 50 and 55. But I want to have a same information in the all 3 tables. So how can I do it? So for this one, we are going to use a concept of called variables. Generally, what is a variable? What is a variable? What is a variable? It's a variable is a placeholder. It's a varies. Variable means it contains some value. So that value can be used in anywhere. It contains a value. That value can be used in Anywhere in all
Okay.
interfaces.
Okay.
Variable means it contains a value. That value can be varied. So now here I'm going to see a variables. See here a variable. I'm going to see variable and how to use that variable. So right click here and create a new variable. Okay, give a variable name. So the variable name v underscore. So insert date. I'm giving the insert date is my name. So that is the name. I'm going to use the variable. Now, what is the data type of this variable? So alphanumeric, text, numeric, and date. This is date. Okay. So how many values? So what is the keep history? So do you want to keep all values or latest value or no history? Okay. So the ODI repository stores all values. That means every time you run a map, whatever value is going to store in the inserted date. So do you want to keep history of all values of that variable or only latest value or no history at all? So this history will save in the repository, ODI repository. That's why I'm keeping only latest value. So that means I want to store only latest value. And so what is the default value?
ఈ
Sorry.
మంత్ లోనే బాహుబలి సెకండ్ వీక్ ఉంటుందంట.
సార్ ముందు క్లాస్ ఏంటంటే బాహుబలికి తర్వాత వెళ్దాం. Okay, keep history. The latest value, all values, and no history. So the latest value. I'm going to use the latest value. Okay, now next step is the refreshing. So how do you get this value? So do you want to give a value as a constant or do you want to get a value from a query? So the refresh means it refreshes value by executing a query. See, I want to get the system date from by executing this on the target server. Or target server is ls underscore oracle underscore local target. So now I'm going to get the system date. Select system date from dual. So I want to get the system date from dual. So I'm refreshing that value. So I'm checking this value. So here I'm checking this. So the valid query. So this query, see what is the use of this refresh? Refresh means I can give a hardcode value or I can get a value into this variable by executing a query. Okay, what is the query? Select system date from dual. So it will give you a current date. Select system date from dual. See here I got this value. Okay, this value I'm going to store into this variable. I will use this variable in each mappings. I will use this variable in each mapping. So then I can get a correct value. Okay, so now I want to see how it is going to refresh. See here it is the refresh. Whenever you refresh, it execute this on the database and see the data session started. If you go to history, now refresh it. See here, this is the data we have. This is the value. July 15, 2015, 10:03. Okay, everybody is clear. See, thing is first I declared a variable. This variable has a option of refresh option. So the refresh, I put a query, refresh query, and that value I'm going to get it from this schema. Okay, variable declared and with only history only. Only thing is history only, latest value only. I'm not keeping the history. So this markers, memo, version are not that much important. Okay, so now variable is created. So now I want to use this variable in all the mappings. So go to mappings, each mapping. So here wherever you have insert date. So now here instead of here system date, go to here, click this expression, open this expression and see the project variables. Double click this variable. Okay, so now but as it is a date, we have to put a single quotes in the Oracle. Date value, single quotes. Because in the Oracle dates contain the single quotes, we need to put it in single quote. So validate it. Yeah, it's a valid. So now the second one in the employees also the same thing. So here go to this variable. So go to this expression, delete this existing value, click this, go to project variables and click this and put a single quote. That's it. So 3 maps created and a variable created. That variable refreshes the value from the database, and then so I put that variable in this mapping. So now go to the packages. See here, go to this package. So this is the package I'm going to execute, right? Okay, before starting up these variables, I need to have a value into this variable. So this variable needs to be refreshed. So that's why put this variable. Okay, this variable, whenever, I used this variable in this mappings, right? So I need to have a value into this variable. So that variable needs to be refreshed. So I will variable need to get a value. Variable look value raval manake. Ante we need to execute the query associated to this variable. So how can I execute? So whenever you put a variable in this here in the package, okay, in the properties window, see here the type. So how you are using this variable? So you are using the variable as a declare variable, evaluate variable, refresh variable, and set variable. So the variable. So how can I use that? So the use of a variable in package can be declare, refresh, evaluate, and then set. So the declare is just declaring that variable. So the refresh means, so the select statement, so the SQL associated to that variable is going to execute. Variable is going to execute and populate a value and get a value from the query into it from SQL select statement, and the evaluate is to check. I want to check value of a variable. To check value of a variable. Value of a variable. So I want to see whether value is properly populated or not. Okay. So now here the set means, so giving some value to variable. Setting value to 1, 2 or something. So giving value to variable. See, this is to check a value. So evaluate a variable. So I want to see whether it is null or not null kind of thing. Okay. So now here is I'm refreshing. If I have a refresh, the symbol is like this. If I set with evaluate, see here changing the condition, checking this operator. Variable value is equal to is null or not null. See here I'm checking this value. Is null or not null in array list of values is equal to or something. So when I change it to set variable, it is asking to assign a value 1. So that means I assign a value to 1 as a default value. So the declare is nothing. So just we are declare a variable, nothing else. So it's not going to do anything. So that's why I changed it to refresh variable. So the refresh variable. Refresh means, so whenever you double click it, so the select statement associated to this variable is going to execute and it gets a value into this variable. But if you want to check a value of a variable, you can check a value of a variable is equal to null or not null kind of thing using a evaluate variable. Okay, so now variable is created. I want to make it as a first step. Now link this to this. Okay, what I did here is, so I created a variable and executing the value of this variable from a select statement and then loading the data into this variable. So I used this variable in these 3 interfaces. So whatever value I got here in this variable, the value is using in the same 3 interfaces. So let's execute this one. So it's failed. Literal does not match the format string. Literal does not match the format string. That means, so you can see the value of this variable. So that means the variable value is here, wrong. Here, whenever I execute, this is the statement executed. So here the value is not coming properly. So what value it here? So now go to this variable and see the value of this variable. So this is the July 15, 2000. So this Oracle cannot understand this format. Oracle cannot understand July 15, 2015 format. What we have to do is here
Today's of
toChar. We have to use a toChar. Tochar of DD MON
TD MN
24
20.
MI second. So this is the format. I'm converting to this common format. So this format Oracle can understand. So save. So now I'm loading the value from this one. That's again it is failed. Yeah, it's a semicolon is missing here. Single quote is missing here.
Yes.
That's why whenever you change this one, let's try to execute this, refresh and then see the value. So now the value changes. Again it is failed, refresh failed. Say this is giving the date format is like this. How many spaces we have here? So the single space. Yeah, problem is, so we used the toChar, right? So the toChar means we're converting to character, right? So we have a toChar, but here the data type is a date.
Definition, yeah.
To text. Definition,
Text, yeah.
see, because this is the date, the system date, we're converting to character. So I cannot store character in the date, but that's why I declared the data type as a text.
Text, yes.
But need to make sure. So now right click here and refresh, and this is valid, this query, and execute this. Yes. So now execute this package. Now purging the log, again I'm purge log. I don't want to make multiple. So now execute this package. Date format picture ends before converting to entire input stream. Let's make this variable is
So do we need to give the length of the text? Or?
no, length is not required. Yes, see here it's completed. It's like just a formatting issues. That's why I change it to DDMON YY. So it stores the same information in all mappings. If you see here and then go to execute and then see, DD locations and target. Yeah, so it's executed, the trunk and reload executed. That's why it shows it's not truncated the target, it's appended the data. See, that's why we have like a 69 rows. So actual location source, HR, locations. So we have only 23. So 23, 3 times job run, 23, 23, 23, 69. That's why we have a 69 records. That is fine. The only thing is what I did here is, so using the variable in the mapping. So first thing is, so how to use a variable. So the variable value, first declare a variable, okay, and refresh the variable before using in the packages. I declared a variable. So how to use a variable? So first thing is declare a variable. 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 Okay. So declare a variable and write any select for refresh or give a constant value. Constant value. So wherever you want, and then use this variable in all your interfaces, mappings or interfaces. Why I'm saying interfaces is if you are going to work in the ODI 11, so it used to call it as interfaces. So now third one, use this variable in all your mappings and interfaces. Then and place this variable in package before start of interfaces mappings, in which we use this variable. So this variable can be a, so here in the package we can declare this variable is a constant or it is a something. Okay, everybody is a clear so far, please? Everybody is a clear so far, please? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let's see. So now we have another column, right? In the target table, we have another column. So what is that another column we have? ODI job. Let's truncate these three tables. So I want to truncate the tables. So I'm going to reload it again. Okay. So no data, and no data. Okay, perfect. So now this we have added a new column ODI target with inserted by. Inserted by is means a username. Okay, username. So where I want to use. So now I want to create another variable inserted by. Okay, inserted by variable, and the default value is, so it is a text. Okay, the default value is ODI. ODI is the default value. Okay, ODI is the default value. Please observe the next 10 minutes carefully. So now I want to use this variable in all the mappings. I want to use all these variable in all the mappings. So perfect. Expand this variable. So now go to inserted by. So here cancel this. So use the project variable inserted by. So inserted by double quotes because it said the double quotes is required. Okay, super. This is done. Inserted by. Okay, I created a variable and I have added a value. So now I need to put this variable in the package. So inserted by. Okay, so now first get the date and then it get this value. Okay, so now I got the value into this variable. I put a value. So what I put a value, here it is a value, the set variable, because I have a value of ODI. Okay, so ODI value is there. Super. Right, everybody is clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now execute this mapping. So it's failed. To So let's see the code, what code it is executed. Get this code, and in the staging schema, execute this. So inserted by, this is query is fine, and then see the value of this variable, inserted by value. Set to ODI. What is the problem? So let's execute this statement. Why it is failed? So value, assign a value to ODI, then executed this interface, it's failed with this value. Insert flow into $table. Okay, so directly from keyword not found where expected. Target, let's make it as the target hint. It is a constant, right? Because it's a constant value. Let's say put it on the target. Super. From keyword not found where expected. What is the wrong in this one? Sorry. Inserted by, inserted there, and inserted by.
So do we miss any comma or something?
That's what I'm checking.
Yeah.
So I declared a value with ODI. Single quote ODI is fine. Okay, let's make it as a refresh and then see how it is going to work. Refresh. So now in the refresh, just I'm using a query. Select ODI from dual. Okay, select ODI from dual. So it's a valid. And if I refresh this, so I got a value. So the history, so the ODI, that is the perfect. So now execute this map. See here, now it's completed successfully. That means something wrong with the assignment. Okay, see here, all this variable has a same value. Now go to see here. Yes, so ODI, ODI, ODI. Okay, but so what is the disadvantage of this one? So I have some disadvantage. It has ODI. Locations, it is a disadvantage. Value is loaded. But See here how I declared the variable. I declared a variable with a refreshing, with a constant, but I don't want to hard code. See, today ODI, tomorrow management wants some other value. Okay, so day after tomorrow, they want some different value. So, but how can I load the different value? That's why. So, please see this concept. In the staging schema, okay, I'm creating a new concept called parameter table. I'm creating a concept called parameter table. Okay, so I'm creating a table with the simple table, create table, ETL parameters. Okay, now here is parameter ID, number of 23, and parameter name, and parameter value. This is simple. We can have more number of columns also. 2 of 50. Okay. So now I created the table. Yes. So now I'm inserting a record into this table. So insert into ETL underscore parameters values. So 1 and inserted by, that is the inserted by value, and the value is, I'm using a Vinay. Let's see sample Vinay. Okay, let's save this one. So okay, so now in the mapping I want to read from this table to get the value. I want to read this table from this value, because see, if I want to change this value, every time I need to change in the interface, every time I need to change in the variable, so I don't need to variable, so I want to refresh that value. So here param underscore value from ETL underscore parameters, where param underscore name is equal to inserted by. So I'm reading value from the variable. So instead of hard coding, I'm getting the value from the variable. So where, what is the logical schema I have here is, so the logical schema, the table, parameter table is in the staging schema. Let's see what is the physical. Okay, I don't have this physical schema. I'm creating the new physical schema for this one. ODI stage. I'm creating the new physical schema for ODI stage. Case context plus, so ls underscore oracle underscore target underscore local underscore ODI 12 stage. I created the new physical schema for this one. So now I want to use that new physical schema. Save, then close this variable. Here the staging one. Okay, so now let's see the refresh, how value it is there. So in the history, so the value is Vinay. Now it is Vinay. So now run a map. So it is reading from a parameter table. Instead of hard coding, I'm reading it from the parameter table. So completed successfully. If you see here Vinay. Vinay is there. This is Vinay. And this is Vinay. Okay, if manager want to change Vinay to job, for example, ETL job, ETL parameter tables, I'm changing this to ETL job. So the next day onwards, ETL job. So as a value change, we don't need to change your mapping. You don't need to change. So I changed in the only database. So now you can directly go and execute this package. So now it will create, run a job with these values as ETL parameters. Now if you go to see the locations, you will have a value of ETL job. ETL job. Because, so see here, I'm instead of hard coding, I'm through a parameter table. So the parameter table, you can create a parameter table in the work schema. That is the best place to create a work schema. Create a one physical schema for this work schema, and create a logical schema for this one, and use this logical schema in the refreshing of your variable. So during this variable refresh, so I'm using a parameter value. Everybody is clear? Yes or no, please? Yes or no, please?
Yes, sir.
Let's see. I want to do something. Okay. So now I'm modifying a query. So NVL of, if it is null, parameter value is null. The parameter value is null. Please observe carefully. So I'm giving a, if parameter value is null, I'm getting minus x. Okay. So now here somebody accidentally, let's truncate these tables again. Truncate. So please observe carefully. So today we are discussing too many topics. Please carefully observe and practice immediately. Okay, super. So I truncated all the tables. So now I'm going back to my parameter table. So accidentally some people make it null. So value is null. If this value is null, don't run my packages, interfaces. The value is null. See here, whenever you refresh this variable, it comes minus cx because I put null, NVL. So if the parameter value is null, I'm refreshing with minus cx. See here, if you see the history here, so it has a minus x. Minus x means don't run this one. So how can I do it? So I want to check the value of this variable. So how can I check it? So now delete this. Okay, so now we use the same variable again. So inserted by same variable again. So but here I need to evaluate if is not equal to minus x. Not equal to minus x. I put a not equal to minus x. So not equal to minus x. Then only execute this maps. True. Okay, see what it is going to do here is, so here it is going to refresh the variable, and the same variable I use with evaluate concept with a value not equal to minus x. So if it is not equal to minus x, so then only execute these three maps. Right now, how much data we have in the table says department null, employees null, locations null, and your parameter table I have a null. So null means nothing will be loaded. So now go to your operator. Okay, so now I'm deleting this. I want to show you nothing is happened. So I deleted this. Okay, so nothing is there. So now I'm running this map package. This is very simple and only the concepts are very important. See here, it's completed successfully, but it's executed. Why? Let's see the variable value inserted by. So the history is minus x. It's loaded with minus x. That's wrong. Let me check it, debug it. It's not equal to minus x. What I put here, the single quotes or double quotes. Is it a small x or capital X on it? It's minus x. Minus x. That is fine. And what I used here is the packages in the evaluate. It is not equal to minus x. is equal to minus x. Okay, let's see. It says 1. Let's make it 1. So here it's not equal to 1. So not equal to 1. That means if it is equal to 1, don't run anything. Saying it is, if it is equal to 1, not equal to 1, so then go to here. If it is equal to 1, and this one. Let's truncate the tables. So it failed in the here itself. Missing right parenthesis. Where it is missing the right parenthesis? Oh. So here is the, we have a one single quote extra. See, it's a completed successfully. See here, nothing is executed. See here, at the it stopped at the end. Interfaces are not executed because I have a value of 1. So 1 means I'm checking this value. So if parameter value is null, so then it's take the value 1. So I'm checking if it is not equal to 1, so then only I'm executing these interfaces. Everybody is clear? So this is the evaluate concept. If I change back my parameter table, ఏంటి అర్థమైందా అందరికి? అందరికి అర్థమైందండి?
అర్థమైంది.
So ODI job. I changed value to ODI job. So ODI job. So now this will run now because if I execute this now, it's not 1 now. See here. Now this completed successfully because here it is refreshing this variable and here it is refreshing this variable again inserted by. Here I am checking the value of this variable is equal to 1 or not null. So what is the value in the inserted by? Inserted by value is we have a value of ODI job. It is not equal to null. So 1. So this all these interfaces executed now. So in the earlier one, so we have a value as null here. So the null means, so I refreshed the null with 1. So 1 means yes. So I validated with 1. If it is not equal to 1, so then I executed these interfaces. If it is equal to 1, not equal to 1, not equal to 1 means it has some value. So then only I want to execute this interface. Otherwise, stop execution here itself. Everybody is clear? Or anybody have any issues? ఏమైనా అర్థమవుతుందా? Yes or no, please?
Yes, sir.
So today I am stopping. చెప్పండి.